Welcome to Healing Hype Man. Welcome to my Chiron series. So you're watching this video if you have Chiron in Cancer. If you don't know what we're talking about or you missed the first video, take a look at the first video, talk about who Chiron is, what Chiron means in your chart, and the transit that's taking place December 23rd. Chiron is moving into Aries. Here in this video, I'm going to talk about what it means to have Chiron in Cancer. You can take a look down in the description box below for the little descriptions of the house placements as well, and you want to combine the two. Perhaps that will give you more of a detailed, specific area of your life or part of you that is asking you to be the teacher in your life and heal from this wound that was brought, that happened to you in a past life, that happened to you while you were in the wound, or it happened to you as a child. Astrology really can kind of tell you, can give you indicators or predictions into what aspects of your life you might need healing from, and your mission on this planet, in this body at this time, is to heal this part of you if it resonates with you. For some people it doesn't resonate, so it could have happened in a past life, so you want to take a look at your Akashic records if it really doesn't resonate with you at all. Maybe it just doesn't resonate with you at all because you've already healed that part, or that really wasn't an aspect of your life that was an issue of concern. So take what resonates here. I also want to remind you that I'm a self-studying astrologer. I'm a self-taught tarot reader, and I'm a mental health clinician in training. So the resources that I use here will all be down below in the description box in case you want to dive deeper, but I also want to give credit where it's due. I wouldn't be Healing Hype Man if we weren't going to talk about our wounded healer, if we're not going to talk about our traumas or triggers and things that we should heal ourselves from. If I didn't think that it was valuable, I wouldn't bring it here. But when I find something juicy, I want to share it. So this is what I got here. But there's a lot of content out there, so feel free to take a dive on your own. That is really what the transit is. It's like you're either going to become aware of this or you're going to want to go after it, which is ironic because no one wants to go after pain. No one wants to go after traumas. No one wants to go after why this part of me does what I do. But there is going to be that impulse, that drive, that go-getter energy since Chiron is moving into Aries on the 23rd of December, and we'll be there for about 6 months. So if you have Chiron in Cancer, here we are. I have some notes. So to the core, you guys have a belief that you are unlovable and have been abandoned in some sort of way. Take a look at your house placement below to kind of give you a better detail. There could have been some family trauma that leads to the core feeling of loneliness, emotional pain, or even emptiness. Usually, you don't feel that love exists, and there's feelings of unworthiness. Usually there's a lack of nurture in the childhood. So if you want to, maybe there was a lot of kids in the family and you weren't one that they paid attention to the most, or you required more nurture and care than your other siblings, and it was given to someone else. Right? Perhaps there just wasn't enough nurture there, or your mom was very young and she didn't know how to nurture you to begin with because she was learning as well, or you were a late bloomer and she already had a whole entire life before you came. Right? There's many examples, but I want you to kind of come up with your own. If this resonates with you, if you feel like you are unlovable, or there is a deep seed of like feeling abandoned in some sort of way, maybe you were, maybe the father left, the mother left, right? This is typically, those of you who have Chiron in Cancer have have kind of gone through, or could have gone through, it could have happened to you in a past life. Remember that. Now, during this transit, how you can heal. During this transit. So you really want to work on reclaiming your place in the world. So a lot of empowerment here, a lot of finding your place in the world, which is a journey alone, right? Question for you: where have you kept yourself small in order to stay safe? Where have you kept yourself small in order to stay safe? Thus blocking yourself from the home and work life you truly desire. So perhaps you played it safe somewhere because you're like, this is all I know. Or this is all I have the capacity of. I don't know what it is like to be committed anymore, or people being committed to me. And you could very well be blocking what your version of a home looks like, or what your work-life balance looks like, because you're only replicating what was given to you or what you went through, right? First and foremost, on a clinical perspective, we want to give compassion to your inner child for putting up with those situations or dealing with those cards that were dealt. When it comes to Chiron, as I really dive into it, it's nothing that anybody did. You know, in a spiritual perspective, it's you have to give compassion. You did the best you could with the tools you had at that time. That's all you knew. And that's the compassion part, is like give yourself compassion for having to go through that situation. And then giving compassion to those people around you that you might be quick to blame. They did the best they could with the tools they had at that time with what they knew. And you'll know how that story fits for you. And you want to choose to make yourself visible to the world and find small accomplishments that will kind of give you a place and a meaning in this world. Perhaps it's like your career that you go down, or the type of family that you provide, or the type of lifestyle that you provide for yourself. But you want to create a balance of home and work that works best for you and your emotional security. So perhaps your family might have been chaotic a lot and they left you out, and your version of it is a little bit safer. It's whatever works best for you to heal that part of you, to feel, not to feel empty or not to feel alone. But if you had that deep-seated feelings of like emotional instability, or your feelings of emptiness at the same time, try to go back to the very first time, right? We're looking at parts work now. The very first time that you felt abandoned, or that you felt you weren't loved, or maybe someone else was given more attention than you when you were a child. Before I get into some interventions, the two tarot cards from a spiritual perspective is the Five of Cups and or the Ace of Cups here. The Five of Cups speaks to being left out in the cold, right? This is a mother and a son left out in the cold. But the pictation here is that the church is there, and why aren't they going in to find sanctuary, right? There's being left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles about being left out, right? Feelings of being left out, or if you're looking at it past, present, future, you have the feeling that you might be left out or abandoned because you've been abandoned in the past, right? You see how this kind of correlates there. And the Ace of Cups is like not pouring into your own cup. Perhaps no one poured into your cup, so you don't know how to pour into your own cup because you were used to a family that poured into other people and no one poured into you, right? So here what we want to do is start pouring into your cup, providing yourself, right? That's all you can do from this point on, is I have to provide for myself because there's no one there that did, or that can, or that is, or that will at this point in time. So it's filling up your cup and what satisfies your emotional needs, and you have to do it for yourself. And sometimes in spirituality, that's a tough pill to swallow. Welcome to healing, right? And you do it for yourself. Sometimes there's a little bit of, what's that word I want to use? There's like a little bit jaded, I don't know, that's not the right word. You're just like, okay, you get a little bit spicy and feisty because you're like, I had to do shit my own way as an adult, and you start resenting people, places, and things that made you do all of this work, right? So give compassion to your inner child there, please. And I'm also going to throw in the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, because now I'm going to go into the interventions that very well in a clinical perspective that could work for you. And it's honestly being committed to Ten of Pentacles about commitment, family, abundance. And commit to sticking with the family. Commit to creating the family and what that looks like for you, and whatever timeline that looks like for you. Right. In a clinical perspective, we'd also look at any conflicts with your parents over their parenting methods and parenting styles. Right. Was there friction there? Are you resenting the way that they raised you? Are you understanding that they did the best that they could with the tools that they had, and acknowledging that where they were at is all they had the capacity to, because that is what they were taught. Right. You can't do something that you weren't taught or didn't know about. And so we're going to look at your conflict with your parents, and over the parenting styles and methods that they used with you. Family therapy would be great for Chiron and Cancer placements if there's still a disconnect with the family. Because reconnecting with the family unit to a functional level and strengthening the family could be a massive component to healing this part of you, the wounded healer. I wouldn't be surprised if those of you even get into like family counseling, or family therapy, or helping family units, or working for family centers. This is because typically you become a healer in something that you've experienced, and we all have the capacity to be a healer, as I mentioned in video 1. Typically, it's in something that you have experienced, what you had to teach yourself to get out of. We'd also look at describing the roles of each member and how they played an impact into your life. And then you can really go into like, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of each family member, and how you can use that to strengthen the family unit as a whole once again. Let's see what else I have here. And we have to do some things here definitely to make yourself more visible in this life. So perhaps it's something that you uniquely like. Take a look at your house placement below, because perhaps that might give you an aspect into something that might make you unique, or you can use that to heal, or maybe that was a very specific indicator of this experience. And like I said, family therapy would work really well here, but it is about healing some sort of giving yourself that love, or finding a way to love yourself if you felt that you weren't that loved as a child, or any feelings of emptiness and pain. I think that's all I have there. So I'm also going to give you a little random read from Young Pablo's Clarity and Connection. I got this over the holidays, and then they have been landing spot on. And this one's going to be, here we go. You can change your location, meet new people, and still have the same old problems. To truly change your life, you need to look inward. Get to know and love yourself, and heal the trauma and dense conditioning in your mind. This is how you get to the root. Internal changes have a significant external impact. Wow. Getting to the root, and this is why I'm bringing it up. I want you to get to the root of a deep-seated belief system of being unlovable or abandoned. Perhaps it was physical. Perhaps it was just a lack of connection, or a lack of nurture, a lack of more than you require. And you can't really, all you can do as a child is cry, and that's how the mother knows, or the family knows, that they need attention. Perhaps you weren't a crier, or perhaps your cries were so loud that they just saw it as, oh my gosh, she's screaming, but really it was a cry for more attention. And so if any of this enticed you and you want to dive deeper, feel free to book a session with me. We can talk about the spiritual perspective. We can even look at the clinical perspective. I'm happy to talk about that with you and look at more interventions and ways to heal your wounded healer. My name is Alvin Catalan. I am present. I'm done speaking now.